Did you really believe Bonnie and Clyde, the messiest people in Harlem, would get away with inventing a complete baby in order to keep their names popular and their purses full? Oh, please take a seat and turn off all notifications, because what I'm going to reveal is so filthy, so embarrassing, and so repulsively appropriate for these two that even the most petty Twitter corners will find it offensive. This scandal cannot be handled nicely. Imagine waking up to leaked video showing Cam'ron, Mr. Pink Mink himself, standing 3 steps back as Chrissy, the self-described ride-or-die queen, whispers, "Sweet baby," into a burner phone, putting this filthy soap opera together like the puppet master of the $1 store in Harlem. Check for fake tears. Verify the fake doctor's notes. Cash slips covertly behind budget hotels. Checkmate, baby. How deep is this rabbit hole, you ask? Truly go. How many bogus charity checks, reunion agreements, and sponsorships did these two profit from as everyone applauded a fictitious pregnancy? The worst aspect is that one by one, the receipts are leaking out. And believe me, when we're finished, you'll never view a baby bump the same way after today. Hold on tight. The internet might go down in 2 pieces as a result of this expose. Therefore, let's dismantle the circus's soiled exterior, since believe me, the purported power couple of it wasn't overnight that Harlem made a mistake. Oh, no, it took years to create this filthy masterpiece. Tears are disguised under reality. Instagram captions and staged engagement rings that were so phony they could fool a ghost. Let's start by going back to the heyday, when Cam'ron strutted around like a peacock for Don Data and Chrissy Lannon anointed herself the First Lady of Harlem. Jim Jones believed he controlled Harlem's last unbroken brotherhood at that time. Bless his faithful idiot heart. Even Mona Scott Young might wonder if this was too scandalous for cable TV. But beneath all that dipset nostalgia, there are snake pits, hush money, and a phony pregnant tummy. People claim that when VH1's reunion shows began to draw stagnant ratings in 2017, the rot began. Creon Q was someone Chrissy knew. Skills were rapidly becoming less valuable. Cam was aware that his solo buzz was confined to half-baked tourist flyers in 2005 nostalgia. So what are the two hustlers doing in the dusty limelight? Simple. Create a new mess. The narrative of the false baby begins. Insiders. According to Chrissy's former nail technician, who was unable to remain quiet, Cam heard the first rumors about her pregnancy over a dubious brunch at Harlem Tavern. Chrissy tapped Cam's iced-out watch while leaning over her champagne and growled, "What if the world thinks I'm pregnant again?" Cam didn't even bat an eye. Taking out his second phone, he murmured, "Not the public one, the burner. If you sell it right, we all eat good." Baby scams turned into baby plans after that lunch. Chrissy refollowed former Instagram sponsors. Reality show producers vowed never to collaborate with Cam again after he made amends with them. Dramatic backstage collapse in 2011. Jim, poor clueless Jim, continued to believe every text that said "I love you, Daddy." At 2 a.m., she crooned him while covertly organizing hush money for dubious ultrasound bills. Time travel to the spring of 2022. Chrissy began to get odd bumps on her selfies. According to fan pages, she's radiant. Barbershops in Harlem murmured, she's glowing, but that tummy that resembled a pillow. In the meantime, Cam sucked up every drop of cloud. He hinted that he would provide the team new life in a teaser, used baby symbols to tease cryptic Instagram tales, and made crude jabs at Jim. A real man nurtures his seedlings and takes responsibility for his blunders. It was successful. Offers of sponsorship appeared out of nowhere. Maternity Fatou's mommy, podcasts, and baby brands. Chrissy was offered by a large vitamin manufacturer, according to an insider report, a 5-figure deal for a YouTube vlog about a pregnant woman's health journey. They had no idea that her bank account, not her womb, was the only thing expanding. And this is where it becomes dirty. These two went beyond mere pretense. Not at all. They ensured that the falsehood appeared unbreakable. A Jersey-based traveling OBG, who allegedly had her license revoked in 2018 for fake blood tests. Sonograms and pregnancy checkup receipts were among the dubious medical documents on Cam's private server. They were all made on a burner laptop, saved to an encrypted USB, and given to Chrissy before any suspicious PR agent could request proof of due dates. Cam took hazy selfies in the toilet with Chrissy's artificial bump while Jim sat laughing with his inner circle in a hookah lounge 2 blocks away. If you add some reality TV tears to anything, Harlem is still foolish enough to purchase it. Savage, but not unexpected. And it may have all remained buried, if not for the housekeeping woman in that notorious hotel room in Midtown, who made a mistake that not even Cam's anxiety could correct. Yes, the same housekeeper who discovered a pregnant belly band that appeared oddly flat-linked to 3 unused prenatal medication bottles that were thrown in the trash. She snapped a photo. She sent a direct message to a Harlem gossip writer who was desperate for clicks. Boom. The baby hoax was exposed. In a matter of hours, #Chrissy, fake bumps were popular. Cam's phone exploded with death threats from Dipset stans who said he had attacked his brother for clout money. rather than congratulatory direct messages. Chrissy was abandoned by her lawyer, Mona Scott Young, even the queen of refusing to answer her calls. I said, "Give me the mess, I'll spin it." The leak was only the appetizer, so hold on, it gets hotter. Bank statements, an unidentified whistleblower, and the main course some claim it was a disgruntled intern from Cam's brief podcast endeavor. Digital folders that were leaked online, screenshots of hush money, phony prenatal bills, and hotel reservations made under fictitious LLC names such as Mommy Empire and Consultancy, LLC. By connecting every mistake and me, fans did what fans do best. They torched the entire farce into the following week. When determining Chrissy's alleged due date, TikTok detectives compare it to her club appearances, where she miraculously had abs by midnight but a bump by breakfast. All night, Twitter Spaces were ablaze. Did Jim fail to anticipate this? Since Diapit's debut mixtape, Cam has been a snake. You all simply forgot. Harlem's messiest soap opera was far from ended. So if you thought this was the last leak, fasten your seatbelt. Jim was about to post a prayer hands emoji on Instagram and do damage control when more screenshots appeared. Fell, this time from burner phone records, private voice notes, Chrissy's cousin's pilfered iCloud, and an eerie agreement with a dubious public relations business that promised viral release of pregnancy-related content. Cam, meanwhile, disappeared. No, not a single petty tweet, no freestyle diss track, no mysterious live. The quiet. That's how Harlem knew he was either planning his next move in chess or committing immorality. Chrissy, however, was unable to conceal. She had no ring, no bump, and no idea how to turn this PR car accident into a new job when she was discovered by paparazzi, leaving a nail salon. The real slap is right here. It was time for sponsors to flee. The maternity leave is reimbursed by that vitamin brand. Threat of a lawsuit against a photo studio. Even a vicious tweet was posted by one brand. Fake infants are not acceptable to us. With immediate effect, we have ended all partnerships. Once more, the internet went down. Now, stop. Breathe deeply. You're terribly mistaken if you believe that this scam ended after dubious invoices and hotel restrictions were made public. Clout wasn't the only thing this baby bombshell was about. It was the ticking time bomb that shattered Dipset loyalty, exploded the final fairy tale romance in Harlem, and set off a federal audit. When you thought Harlem gossip would finally stop, you were mistaken. What came next involved more than just Torchy and Cam. It brought some old pals back into they vowed to leave the filthy spotlight behind. Stay with me. This scandal is going to be thoroughly examined in part 2. You'll wish this was simply lousy reality TV at the end. I promise. It's a lot worse. If you believe that Twitter memes and barbershop rumors were sufficient to expose the fraud. Welcome to the authentic Harlem. My dear Chrissy and Cam'ron weren't only dragged by the gushing receipts, they flipped a switch that transformed the dusty backstage secrets of Harlem into a federal sideshow that no one could watch. Even Mona Scott's unbreakable non-disclosure agreements couldn't hide the reunion. This is the spiral. Invoices in the hob were forbidden by the same unhappy intern who left the hotel. Screenshots from laptops didn't end there. This rogue whistleblower shared a single encrypted file on a dubious discussion board 2 days after the hashtag Chrissy phony bump topped the trending charts. Mommy Empire PR Plan _final is the file name. It had a treasure trove of emails. A 6-month viral parenting story arc was sketched out by Chrissy, Cam, and 2 dubious PR managers using signed pitches and WhatsApp messages. It read one bullet point. Public release is Phase 1. Phase 2, false leak of ultrasonography. Phase 3, the sighting of paparazzi bumps. Phase 4, securing brand deals. Phase 5, a planned narrative about a miscarriage to elicit pity and a reunion plot. Go over that again. They planned to stage sadness in addition to a fictitious pregnancy. With Kleenex boxes and hashtags in hand, fans would implore VH1 to announce a special reunion. The internet was split in two when Harlem discovered that bullet point. Half of them insisted that Chrissy be banned from all networks that have ever paid her for a reunion. The other side yelled, Cam was the diabolical genius and puppet master who forced the Queen of Harlem to exchange her last remaining dignity for crumbs. Jim Jones, who referred to himself as the final obedient ruler of Harlem, went nuclear in the meanwhile. Ignore the hands of prayer. Ignore the religious sayings. On Instagram, he retrieved his own receipts. Hoodie, 50% discount. He barked into the phone, his voice trembling. Have you ever loved someone so much that you allowed him to destroy you twice? You guys are making fun of me, but I was pretending to be Alicia's father as Cam cooked behind my back. The discussion was swamped with fans. King, keep going. You're worthy of better. Cam was held accountable for this treachery. As Jim shared more of his heartache in real time, the more the timeline collapsed. Millions of people were caught in a never-ending cycle of nostalgia and embarrassment when TikTok editors combined video of him crying with old Dipset footage. But sadness is just the beginning of Harlem's tangled DNA. When the money trail becomes tense, it turns into a criminal case, because the whistleblower posted incomplete bank ledgers along with that PR file, which even made tax agents tense. PayPal bills claiming to be prenatal wellness consultation. Stacks of $2,500, and Zelle transfers concealed behind phony catering companies' wire transfers associated with Harlem's events, an LLC. That was a breadcrumb trail with extra cheese for the IRS and FBI. Word quickly spread by morning. A sit-down was requested by federal agents. According to the rumor mill, Homeland Security at 5:00 a.m. They knocked on one of Cam's former Queens studios. M searching for a backup drive. A hazy picture of a black SUV parked outside Chrissy's cousin's condo was even shared by a gossip, a blogger who claimed that the feds were questioning her cousin for hush money earnings. Cam remained in ghost mode while the street roared for RICO and racketeering. No dirty bar on Instagram. No freestyle clapback. Don't use weeping laugh emojis in your petty tweets. Nothing but radio silence. Which is more terrifying than any diss track since everyone in Harlem is aware that Cam is working on something deadly when he's silent. Chrissy, the former queen on reality TV, was left to drown by herself in the meantime. In 2 days, she was photographed twice by paparazzi. Initially, slipping into a lawyer's and one, she was crying outside a pregnancy boutique while driving a leased black Escalade. In a midtown office with sunglasses larger than her face, she allegedly conned others into giving them free baby bump props. Brands acted before an apology was offered. Gone. That vitamin sponsor, she teased a brand of designer baby items on Instagram, and the brand ghosted her with a nasty pinned comment. Only true miracles are clothed by us. We hope Miss Lampin finds peace and time to think and the few Harlemies keep them from starting. Old heads clucking their mouths filled beauty salons. When Chrissy insisted that Jim get a tattoo of her lips rather than a traditional wedding, I warned you all that she was trouble. Petty. True, traditional Harlem. Here's the unexpected turn. Though, a new participant emerged from the shadows just as the public relations disaster was burning every nook and cranny of Harlem. The master of the money puppet. According to anonymous Reddit disclosures, this mysterious individual, the intern, was tipped to expose everything by a dubious extra manager named Reggie. They claimed that before Cam abandoned him for stealing club checks in the middle of the 2010s, Reggie oversaw Cam's roadshows. It seems like Reggie harbored resentment. As big as Baby and Harlem blocks, the man went full whistleblower when Reggie discovered that Cam was using a fictitious baby plot to pocket hush money while still owed him unpaid tour percentages. He gave screenshots to the intern. He provided hush tapes to bloggers. He apparently even sold a voice memo with Cam barking on the phone to a podcast for 4 figures. Encourage Chrissy to continue crying. Product is moved by tears. When they believe she is unhappy, we make more money. From Harlem to Brooklyn, you could hear everyone's mouths dropping when that audio memo appeared on the timeline. The renowned ringmaster of TV Ratchet circus reunions, Monis, had to make a dreary public relations statement even when he was younger. Miss Lampkin isn't currently under contract with any of our shows. Regarding unsubstantiated claims, we have nothing to say. Translation: this mess can't even be spun back onto our reunion couch. Girl. The receipts for the Puppet Master were bouncing between blogs, but at dawn, brands continued to run away like roaches. Overnight.com lost a mid-tier spirits endorsement. Unbeknownst to him, he was removed from a rumored Dipet anniversary tour. A text conversation purportedly containing Cam's pleas was released by one promoter. Sought a $50,000 advance, hoping that the fallout from the baby scheme would pass quickly. As a spoiler, it didn't. And the most heinous leak to date: a screen grab of a private group chat. Cam, Chrissy, and APR Fixer are shown discussing witch rumors on a YouTube blog that Reggie himself posted. If the rumor about the false infant got too hot, they would pay off bloggers too. Suppress any negative headlines. There was also a petty message in the chat. Ensure Jim doesn't learn until the bag is cleared. Guess what? Though Jim not only discovered how, the entire fucking planet learned at this point. Dipet's fraternity resembled the garbage heap in Harlem. Contracts were torn up. Friendships were ruined, and brand endorsements were reduced to ashes. Moreover, federal snitches squealing, it was no longer just Instagram me. Both Cam and Chrissy were now anxious about whether hush monies were disclosed correctly due to a rumored federal tax investigation. And throughout all of this, where was Jim? Still recovering, still heartbroken. The final faithful ruler of Harlem struck the booth. According to rumors, faked and betrayed, a new disc record will be released soon. On Twitter, several sly tidbits were leaked. Unrefined barbarian bars with no features, just Chrissy, Camp, Jim dragging, and all. The false baby props from Miami to Midtown. Don't assume that this clown act will finish with legal bills and PR apologies. Because according to the same Puppet Master Whisper Network, a lawyer's safe contains an even more heinous twist. Cam and Chrissy signed a final hush agreement detailing the precise amount of fictitious baby money that was transferred behind Jim's back and how it was laundered through fictitious charitable contributions. Oh dear, if that document makes it onto the blogs, it will not only destroy DPAT's final legacy, but it may take some big-name sponsors with them. Homeland Security has already begun to investigate. Additionally, the streets are drooling over the last receipts, Section 3. It's coming, I see, and it's the dagger that Harlem has been hankering after, because even the rats in the gutter will feel sorry for Jim Jones when that hush file drops. Keep an eye out, you should avoid blinking. We now expose all remaining secrets in Part 3. Here we are, then. Prepare yourself if you have come this far without holding on to your fictitious pearls, because this false baby disaster's next. Chapter not only puts a final nail in Dipset's dusty coffin, but it also sends the whole Harlem gossip ecology into a raging quagmire that even the oldest original residents of the block are avoiding cameras. Do you recall that hush file? Yes, the smoking gun Reggie alluded to. For weeks, rumors circulated throughout the streets that there were just two had a copy in hand. Reggie and a dubious Hollywood attorney who used to handle Cam's side business when his tax issues were in the news 10 years ago. Harlem, however, overlooked one thing. When everyone's loyalty is on, secrets don't remain in a cage. Layaway. The hush file was made public 2 days after Reggie's group chat breach and a week after Jim's devastating live tirade. There was only one anonymous Google Drive link included in the comments of each piece. No significant tabloid drop, and no podcast exclusive. A much is spoken. Phony infants or chassid cams. The link became a global trend in under 1 hour. A goldmine of contracts, signed NDAs, wire instructions, and a grainy PDF stamped final split agreement were all contained in that folder, with large red lettering. It explained how Chrissy, Cam, a dubious OBGN, and the gossip PR fixer who sold the idea to advertising would divide the revenues from this so-called baby storyline. Additionally, a side comment that was stashed away in the same file nearly blazed through the screen. Jim won't be notified until the very last minute once all sponsor payments have been processed. The collective consciousness of Harlem was lost. TikTok detectives blended vicious memes with old clips of Jim, posted breakdowns in real time, and screen-recorded every page. Kissing Chrissy's stomach live, now with clown faces and weeping emojis as the description, until it spread like a digital wildfire that no lawyer could put out. The entire globe laughed, gasped, and then shared it with their messiest group chats. Furthermore, if the hush file wasn't a hungry blogger caught Mama Jones in the middle of a tirade outside her favorite hair salon after Harlem's favorite mother-in-law, Mama Jones decided to pull the last bit of family laundry out into the open. No apology, no filter. Harlem has been waiting for those words, which she spat out. For she was constantly aware that Chrissy had been poisoned. She claimed that years ago, she pleaded with Jim to open his eyes. He is now dealing with heartache, embarrassment, and a lawyer's cost that is too heavy for Cam to ignore. The sponsors acted more quickly than any public relations statement. They may whip up Chrissy's people. Vitamin deals dead baby. Branded pregnancy photos were met with harsh demands for reimbursement. An upscale store where she threatened in a post on her stories. A claim for harm to a brand brought on by affiliation with a false story. Dollar by dollar, everything was collapsing. In the meantime, Cam performed what only Cam is capable of. He didn't cry. Behind a lawyer's assertion, he didn't release a heartfelt video apology. No, Doc Cam smirked as he introduced himself as Harlem's favorite villain while wearing a sweatshirt halfway off and dancing with chains on his chest. He laughed and took a sip from a crimson cup. He declared, "Loyalty is dead, and he's the only one real enough to admit he killed it himself." Half of the audience cheered despite the deluge of clown and snake emojis in the comment area. A villain who says what everyone else is too phony to whisper is adored in Harlem. Jim refrained from responding with yet another clumsy live. He did what he normally does best. Instead, he struck the booth. An unrefined freestyle appeared 3 days later on SoundCloud with the title "No More Puppets." The words were a raw kind of grief. Graveyard number. By midnight, the song was being played on vehicle speakers in every Harlem block by fans who were paying homage to everything Dipset had once stood for. The internet didn't stop for long, though, since the real hounds the feds arrived after heartbreak and clown memes. Word got around that suspicious payments linked to the fictitious charity fund were identified by Homeland Security. During the bump storyline, Chrissy and Cam pushed each other. Their so-called Moms Foundation, it turns out, did not provide any financial support to mothers who were struggling. Under fictitious company invoices, it sent brand checks directly back to them. Influencer drama is no longer that. Wire fraud is what that is. Barbahop began, joked that a federal courtroom will host the next Dipset reunion special instead of VH1, since Harlem knew deep down that this was more than phony belly bands and phony Instagram captions. The laughter masked the heartache. It concerned a family that had served as the final remnant of uncooked devotion on stage.